I'm Ethan Toshevia. This is RwandaTV News. This Saturday, President Paul Kagame attended and made remarks during the first session of the 2020 G20 Leaders Summit. President Kagame spoke on behalf of the African Union Development Agency AYUDA Fund, NEPAD, in the dialogue on covering the COVID-19 pandemic and restoring economic growth. President Kagame noted that the session comes at a time when the world is dealing with the most urgent tasks facing the international community, including COVID-19 pandemic. He called for rapid and equitable distribution of the vaccines if the world is to return to order for further growth. Take a look.
Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, I'm pleased to speak on behalf of NEPAD, the African Union Development Agency. This session deals with the most urgent tasks facing the international community at this moment. We must end the pandemic through the rapid and equitable distribution of vaccines in every country in the world. And we must chart a pathway back to global growth. I commend the G20 for mobilizing resources for the access to COVID-19 tools, accelerator, in particular the COVAX facility. The apparent effectiveness of several vaccine candidates has generated enormous optimism for a return to normality in 2021. Fully funding COVAX is essential for ensuring that the vaccine is available everywhere. And we cannot forget that strong national health systems are necessary for effective vaccine distribution. Containing the pandemic permits a return to growth, but does not guarantee it. The ability of countries to finance economic recovery is highly variable. The ability of countries to finance economic recovery is highly variable, and Africa notably does not have access to the monetary policy tools in more developed economies. For that reason, the G20's continued commitment to the debt service suspension initiative is of central importance. But this crucial program will not be sufficient. Additional stimulus will be required in developing countries just as it is in advanced economies. We must continue to work together to ensure that no one is left behind as the world recovers from this crisis. I conclude by commending the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the flawless preparation of this summit despite the unique circumstances. I thank you very much.
In other news, complaints continued over the fact that the community-based health insurance scheme known as Mutual de Santé does not cover some of the medicine prescribed to citizens. Officials at the Rwanda Social Security Board, meanwhile, said that the institution can only cover medicine it can afford. Sejanore reports.
Cyprien Sibomana and Laurence Mukamana are two examples of people who have faced this problem. I was with my wife and she was the one who was sick, and we are covered by RSSB. In most cases, the medicine they prescribe for you is not available at the hospital's pharmacy, so you must go looking for it elsewhere. You are then told that RSSB does not cover your medicine, or that you have to go to the institution's headquarters to get special approval before your prescription can be supplied. The problem is that they sometimes prescribe the generic versions of the medicine you want. Also, they sometimes decline to give you prescriptions saying RSSB does not cover that type of medicine. You end up paying your own money, yet you pay for insurance every year. The pharmacists we spoke to confirmed that generic versions of different medicines are sometimes preferred because they can cost as much as 1/10 of the cost of the original version, though both do exactly the same thing. During the first quarter of this year, 82.1% of Mutuelle de Santé subscribers had already paid their contributions, while the whole of last year saw a rate of 79.9%. 23.7 billion Rwandan francs has been paid in contributions, while 18.1 billion has been spent on healthcare. RSSB officials have confirmed that a deficit of up to 20 billion Rwandan francs existed in the community-based insurance scheme in 2018 and 15 billion last year. The government has continued to support RSSB, injecting funds into the institution, which is why it has to be selective when it comes to approving different drugs to cover as part of its health insurance coverage.
The
medicines you are talking about. For example, if a doctor were to prescribe to you a cough medicine that Mutuelle de Santé does not cover, yet there is another generic version that Mutuelle does cover that treats people just fine. Yet some doctors choose to prescribe the much more expensive type that is not a generic version just because it is new. To be able to cover all our subscribers, we must be selective if we are to be able to cover the basic needs of those who rely on our services at a rate of 83% as we do. That is also why we are also making investments to support these types of funds. RSSB has drawn up a 5-year plan that will modernize its systems using digital technology and also boosting its autonomy. The project to implement this was approved by Cabinet last month and is now in Parliament.
In other news, while some parents are losing their children to malnutrition, some early childhood development specialists suggest that putting much effort in birth control is among the long-term solutions to this issue. Jen Motoni with this report.
It's been 1 year and 6 months since the family of Sindikugayo Jean d'Amour and Manirafasha Maria gave birth to triplets, of which one of them passed away due to unhealthy diet, according to this couple. My child died because of inadequate breastfeeding. It was not easy to breastfeed 3 babies. As we went to the hospital, they discovered they were unhealthy with abnormal weight and massive hair loss. After 1 year of proper care and attending to their family, there has been a significant improvement. We were then transferred to Gasore Serge Foundation and they helped us. At first, we used to go there every day, and as their health improved, we started going there 3 times in a week, until we could go there once a week. The first time we went at the hospital, our children weighed 5 to 6 kilograms, but now one is 13 kilograms and the other is 15 kilograms. After a donation of 25 million from the Rwanda Governance Board through a program known as Kuraneza of Gasore Serge Foundation in Bugesera district, 80 children that were unhealthy have been put on a balanced diet in a period of 1 year. The RGB official in charge of developing family finances, André Nkurikiye, and the head of Gasore Serge Foundation, Gasore Serge, explain more. This means non-government organizations have the capability of establishing projects that promote the welfare of the people. With that said, I encourage other NGOs to donate through these organizations, as they have proven to be reliable.
Tubaha amagi bakarya indyo yuzuye irimo imboga irimo ibinyampeke.
We feed them with eggs, vegetables, wheat and milk. All these are available near their homes. Through feeding them a balanced diet with the constant supervision of doctors, a child is able to get well. This process is not expensive. The main challenge lies in the mindset of most of their parents.
Mu cyatsi ntibigoye ntibinahenze. Igihenze ni guhindura imyumvire y'umubyeyi.
The mayor of Bugesera district, Richard Mutabazi, says the poor mentality among some of the parents is one of the root causes of this issue. In some cases, you find that some parents won't seek help, yet it's for the good of their children. In that case, we bring their children ourselves to Gasore Serge Foundation, and sometimes we bring them forcefully with their parents to stay at the foundation, where we're able to help them for a month.
bakabatunga hano mu kigo baharara n'abana babo.
On one hand, specialists in health affirm that family planning is one of the long-term solutions to this issue, as explained by the head of Nyamata Hospital, Dr. William Rutagengwa.
Njye mbwira ababyeyi nise ko tugira imishinga yo kubaka inzu.
I always tell parents, if you can make construction projects and plans of buying firms, why is it that we fail at family planning? A child's life is more important than all those projects, because as soon as a woman conceives, she is weak and no longer able to fully take care of the already born child of about 1 year and a half. And when the baby is born, all the attention goes to the baby and no longer to the older one, hence resulting into a large number of unhealthy children.
Kuki se tubishyira mu igenamigambi ariko igihe cyo kubyara ntitugishyire mu igenamigambi?
Apart from the generous donation towards fighting against the issue of malnutrition among children, the government has taken measures of ensuring that all primary and secondary students must be fed well, as explained by the Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Uwamariya Valentine. Instead of only concentrating on secondary students, we're going to start focusing on both primary and secondary students. The government decided that all children must receive a balanced diet, and by balanced diet for children, milk is included, whereby if a child doesn't get milk, he or she can drink porridge at home. According to the current statistics, 30% of the children in Rwanda are facing the issue of malnutrition. The government of Rwanda is doing its best to solve this problem in partnership with other organizations. Jane Mutoni, reporting for RTV.
Thank you, Jen, for that report. Now, did you know that prisons can be good? Well, at least according to former prisoners, prisons are a good platform to provide learning opportunities, which can in turn become a source of income once the convicted concludes their sentences. Mundanikure Dismas is one of the former inmates who has used his 6-year jail term to learn sewing clothes and now owns a garment factory in Rusizi district. Ndahayo Emmanuel reports.
Mundanikure Dismas, aged 40 years old, was on the wrong side of the law when he got jailed at the age of 17. At such a tender age, the young man was lost and didn't know what to do, as he was deprived of his education and wasn't able to fend for himself. I found it very important to have something to do for my future. Despite the struggles, Mundanikure kept his nerves and he decided to use his time in jail to learn how to sew, with the aim to become a professional tailor once he is released from jail. It was so difficult because there was not enough equipment. We used papers and handy needles, but I had a target, and once I'm out of jail, I would strive to become a professional tailor in Rwanda and abroad. After 6 long years behind bars, in 2001, Mundanikure got released from jail, and within a week, the 24-year-old started his private sewing shop to practice what he had learned. Slowly but steadily, Mundanikure started from just one sewing machine, but today his shop developed into a factory he learns. We have different markets we serve. From Rusizi to Nyamasheke and Karongi, we provide clothes for all Compassion International students. The factory can now generate about 30 million Rwandan francs per month, and it employs more than 125 people, of whom some hold bachelor degrees and others have migrated into the area in search of a good job. The employees told Arabia that they enjoy working at the factory, which has changed their life. I will soon own a house because I have the basics, and I got all that from this profession. I don't earn little money here. I appreciate my salary, and that's why it's worth to be here. Mundanikure said the factory has progressed massively, and now he wants to make it an international empire. I wish to develop my profession to the point that my factory would compete with other international factories. CGP George Rwigamba, the Commissioner General of Rwanda Correction Center, which is in charge of inmates' welfare, noted that the initiative to provide vocational trainings and other soft skills to inmates prepares them to adapt to the normal life after serving their sentences. We have those who took vocational trainings while still in jail and used them properly when they got out. We have one who learned to make clothes and he now owns a factory. This will have a positive impact and prevent former inmates to repeat offenses. Of 13 prisons built in Rwanda, 5 of them provide vocational trainings. Moreover, those trainings can be beneficial to former inmates by keeping them active and hence reducing their chances of returning back to jails. Ndahayo Emmanuel, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Ndahayo, for that report. Just 3 months after the new law allowing civil rights registration for newborn babies to be conducted at health facilities, about 25,700 children have been registered in different parts of the country. Ndahayo Emmanuel has more.
Nishimwe's newborn is one of 25,711 new babies who have already been registered at the hospitals since the government shifted the children registration from sector level to district level in order to facilitate parents to register their new babies without leaving their hospitals as it was done before. Like Nishimwe, parents who talked to RBA rejoiced at the new program, saying that registering their children at the hospitals saved them time, money and stress they used to endure while journeying to register their children at the sector offices. However, even though most parents welcomed the new registration program, RBA has learned that the parents who are not legally married struggle to register their new child. In the meantime, hospital bosses and their staff have applauded the new program to register newborn babies and to unregister the deceased at the hospitals, saying that the program will ensure that every child is registered, which wasn't always the case in the past. Marcel Uwizeye, the director manager of Masaka Hospital, which was the national launch site for the new program back in August, told RBA that the program is successful at his hospital so far. On the credibility issue, Nyirambonyinka Christine, the nurses director at Masaka Hospital, whose department is involved in the registration process, assured the RBA that the process can't be connived. Even though the program has been registered in hospitals, it is yet to be deployed at the healthy centers, which are too close to the majority of the population. Healthy centers and sector representatives have identified this gap as a hindrance to this promising initiative. Havugimana Innocent, Deputy Director at the Health Center in Kimisagara sector, has blamed the NIDA as the sole reason the program is yet to reach the mass population. The National Identification Agency, NIDA, which is overseeing the whole registration process for the new child and the dead people, has said that the overall performance of the program is encouraging and insisted that the single parents can register their children as well. NIDA has also said that they plan to launch the program at the healthy centers across the country by December 1st this year. Since August 10th, when the government decentralized the process to hospitals, more than 25,711 children have been registered and 561 people who passed away unregistered. Emmanuel Ndahayo, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for that report. According to the Ministry of Education, Kigali has the biggest number of students who are yet to return to schools compared to other provinces. This is despite almost 2 months after the resumption of in-person classes. Education officers are urging parents to do their best and send their children back to school before it is too late. According to the official statistics, 85% of students in primary schools in Kigali have returned to schools, 94.5% in Thousand Province, while 89.3% in Eastern Province, while 89.2% of primary pupils in Western Province have returned to their respective schools. It is estimated that 89% of the entire school-going children in primary school have returned to their respective schools, while 91% of secondary school-going children have returned to school so far across the country. Lots of news in sports sector, but let's start it off from the cycling part. Team Rwanda cyclist Moise Mugisha on Saturday won the 4th stage of the Grand Prix Chantal Biya cycling race in Cameroon. A fellow compatriot, Uwihirwe Biza Lenus, finished 3rd. The commanding victory on the 116.4 kilometer race from Zotel to Yaoundé means that the 23-year-old Rwandan rider retained the sought-after yellow jersey going into the fifth and the last stage of the race on Sunday. The First Lady of Cameroon, Chantal Biya, attended the awarding ceremony. Mugisha Moise is now 39 seconds ahead of the second-placed Slovakian Kubis Lucas, while Mugisha Samuel is number 6 in the general classification. Mugisha Moise also won the Best Young Rider jersey, while Mugisha Samuel won the King of the Mountain jersey. Team Rwanda is the best in the current general classifications. The race is set to end tomorrow, Sunday. So we wish good luck to Team Rwanda. In other news, from November 25th to November 29, Rwanda will host the Africa Basketball Championship. I beg your pardon. At Kigali Arena, 12 countries are expected to participate, while some teams, including Mali, Angola, Mozambique, and Central African Republic, have already jetted in. Algeria pulled out of this tournament qualifiers. Now, we also understand that some teams are expected to be taking over this tournament. Rather, the teams are expected to be arriving in the country very soon. And to tell us more, we spoke to the Vice President of the FERWABA, who is also the chairperson of the local organizing committee, who is Richard. I beg your pardon. He's called Richard Nirishama. We spoke to him earlier on to tell us more about the preparation and what to expect in this tournament.
I think about the program, I think everyone is aware that we have a competition starting on 25th to 29th, and we are receiving 11 teams plus the Rwandan team. But what maybe people know is that now we have confirmation because teams have started coming, and up to this date, we have already 5 teams that are in Rwanda. If I may just name them, there is Mali, South Sudan, Angola, Mozambique, and
Central Africa.
So we're expecting the remaining teams from tomorrow till 24th, and all the teams have confirmed. So we'll have all the teams and all the games. I think it's everything set for now. Yeah.
Brilliant. You've also had, I understand, let's talk about Rwanda and the Rwanda team. There has been a withdrawal. I've had some withdrawal of some key players that were called in from abroad, including Mukama and the rest. Or will that affect the preparation? I'm asking this in your capacity as the Vice President of FERWABA.
Yeah, I think, that as I said, the withdrawal of some of the players. I always tell people that a national team doesn't have to be 12 players. It has to be 20, 25, even 30 players. And whenever we have a competition, the coach has, the facility to select the best on that time and those who are available. When the team is relying on one person or two person, the person might get an injury or might be refused by his club to join the national team. So for us, we still have a number of players and that have replaced those who were not able to come. And the good thing is that we do have these qualifiers in November and another one in Feb, and we have the final Afrobasket in August. So we still have a lot of time to test, to prepare, and also call all those players that we think might help the national team to be to a good position.
I know Rwanda has already qualified as the hosts for the Afrobasket in August, but you've given high targets to the national team coach. What does that mean?
It means that, yes, we accepted to organize the qualifiers in this November. So it's not a friendly game. We want to get the players tested. We want to test the chemistry of the team and also give a chance to the coach to try as many players as possible. Then we can't say it's a preparation game. It's a competition that we're going in, and we want to be the first in these qualifiers. We'll be having only 3 games. And before that, we might have a friendly game tomorrow or Monday. So it's still, yes, a test, but we want to see how the team is ready, how the coach is ready to lead us to a higher position in the coming competition of Afrobasket in August.
What is the ambition of Rwanda in Afrobasket?
The Afrobasket is to be among the 4 best team, so to arrive in the semi-finals.
The semi-finals,
yes,
over Rwanda. Brilliant. Good ambitions over there. So as the local organizing committee, you're the chairperson, what should the fans know?
First thing is we will not be able to accommodate people in the Kigali Arena, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think everyone knows why, because with the COVID pandemic we have a restriction of not inviting people in Kigali Arena. Of course, there will be few invitees. Those will be accompanying the teams, and the key people will be invited in the arena. But the most of the fans will be following these games on TV and on the YouTube channel of FIBA. So it's still possible to watch games, and from your home, from your laptop, from your TV, the games will be live.
And the games will be live on KC2, on all our social media platforms, so do tune in. That was Richard Nyirishema, the Vice President of Rwanda Basketball Federation and the Chairperson of the local organizing committee of the African Basketball Championship, Afro Basketball.